This movie begins with a narration about a sea monster from Greek mythology named Siren. Siren is said to have a beautiful voice that roars from beneath the sea. When heard by sea travelers, they are lured to their demise. The narration postulates that love itself can lead one to ruin. Suguru, a butler on the very massive luxury cruise ship, is seen with his friend, having a chat at the ship's cafe. He says he doesn't take Starbucks because their logo is that of a siren. Just then, the captain of the ship walks into the cafe where she's billed for a briefing and an interview. A hostess runs to Suguru, alerting him of a potential disturbance on board. A guest is being a nuisance because he is searching for better network reception for his phone. Suguru puts on a stern look and walks up to him, apologizing for the poor network reception. The guest even asks him to kneel, and he does. Funnily, the guest finds that Suguru kneeling down sort of makes the network reception better. He asks Suguru to stay that way while he places his foot on him. Other crew members wonder why Suguru is so down to earth. Before he mutters a word, the captain stops them. She thanks Suguru for doing all it takes to maintain tranquility on the ship. She then encourages him to keep at it. Suguru goes around being overly nice to guests on board. He corrects those disregarding the ship's rules, applying utmost respect. He is also willing to assist guests in getting the tiniest of things done. The ship has guests of high caliber, people of influence and affluence. Most notable is the Kuruma family. Edwards, a magician, is on board too. He goes about with a parrot on his shoulders, impressing guests with his magic. Kanato, a little boy, approaches Suguru, and Suguru immediately puts on his cape of humility once more. Kanato tells him to stop being so polite to him. He says Suguru is no different from him, seeing that his job is to serve Rina, a girl who's also a kid like him. Suguru then loosens up around the boy. He tells him about his plans of marrying his fiancée after the voyage. Kanato is more interested in passing his message. The ship will sink. As Kanato walks away, Suguru looks on, flabbergasted. In Sohei Kamuru's quarters, his son, Michihiko, is having a meeting with him. Michihiko wants to know why his father hasn't included him in his will, but Sohei doesn't say a word. He just calls for his maid, Sakamoto, to wheel him into his room. As Sakamoto does that, Michihiko alleges that Sakamoto is probably seducing Sohei. Now inside his room, Sohei reveals to Sakamoto that his wealth will be passed down to her in the event of his demise. He also tells her a story of how he gave a patient's organ to another patient many years back, an action he regrets. At another dock where the ship is receiving more guests, Chizuru enters with a different mission: to find Wakaba, who she alleges is sleeping with her boyfriend. She tells Suguru that it's the reason Wakaba hasn't come on the ship. She seeks to leave the ship to go save her relationship, but the ship sets sail already. It's a night of funfair for the guests as Edwards performs his magic to the cheering crowd. Chizuru, who now occupies Wakaba's room, requests a humidifier, and it is Suguru who delivers it. The brief meeting turns sour for Suguru. Chizuru shows him chats that prove that her boyfriend and Wakaba are having an affair. This breaks Suguru's heart. He enters Chizuru's restroom and screams out loud, a means to vent his frustrations. Chizuru wants them off the ship to go save their respective relationships. Sadly, it's impossible for the ship to turn back for anyone's sake. Michihiko's wife wheels Sohei about. She talks about her daughter, Reina, being Sohei's grandchild. Sohei has every reason to believe that Reina isn't his grandchild. He is sure that Michihiko's wife had Reina for another man and not for his son. Michihiko's wife wheels Sohei to a private area. There she confronts Sohei about his plans of leaving Michihiko out of his will. This infuriates her. Angrily, she pushes Sohei into the nearby pool and attempts to drown him while feigning a scream for help. Later that day, Suguru, Chizuru, and Kanato enter the elevator. Before it moves, two couples, Ryuki and Shiori, with Aina and his friend, who have been at loggerheads, enter the elevator too. They arrive at the poolside and notice a scary sound reverberating in the area. A figure with a black cape runs out before they find Sohei's body crashing into the pool. This scares the hell out of everyone. Suguru runs to the captain to reveal what they've just seen. The captain and her assistants follow him to the scene and find nothing there. In a bid to be thorough, the captain summons everyone that was there. They all deny seeing anything unusual. Suguru is perplexed at the sudden denial from the guests. Meanwhile, Michihiko and his wife are now in possession of Sohei's body. They hope to keep it from decaying till they find Sohei's will. The captain's assistant visits Sohei's room. From the door, he sees Michihiko talking to Sohei. Unbeknownst to them, his body has only been placed in a seated position, holding a glass of wine. The assistant returns with the news, and the captain is very disappointed in Suguru. On the spot, she hands him a suspension. Suguru and Chizuru take the same elevator. There, she admits that they all saw what happened. For her, it was about sparing the little boy from trauma. As for the two couples, they just wanted the fun to go on. Anything else would ruin the trip for them. They both agree to talk to the couples to persuade them to come clean with what they've seen. For Chizuru, it's just a way to stir things up, so she can shift focus back to saving her relationship. For Suguru, it's about making sure justice is served. Chizuru presents more evidence of Wakaba's cheating, sending Suguru into a frenzy. He stumbles into the pool, and Chizuru dives in after him. What starts as chaos quickly turns into an unexpected moment of fun, bringing them closer. The fun ends when Chizuru reminds Suguru that they're swimming in a pool where someone's life was taken. Being suspended gives Suguru the leverage to behave like a guest on the ship. They now decide to target the couples, beginning with Ryuki and Shiori. Suguru almost loses his life stalking Ryuki. Shiori then opens up that Ryuki was a member of her dad's gang. They are only on the ship together because they're eloping after stealing a massive amount of money from her dad. Being a part of the Hagiwara family means that Shiori is not to be toyed with, though. Suguru and Chizuru go for the other couple, Aina the filmmaker and his partner, whom Aina is having an adulterous affair with. Chizuru even mentions that she was an actor in one of Aina's movies, but that doesn't make Aina cut her some slack. Aina uses derogatory words on them till she asks them to leave. The ever-humble Suguru leaves without arguing while Chizuru leaves, disappointed. Linking his boyfriend's chats to her phone is the reason Chizuru always has proof of his cheating. They check the fact and see that Chizuru's boyfriend is cheating because he thinks Chizuru isn't very feminine. Wakaba, on the other hand, is doing the same because she thinks Suguru isn't very masculine for a man. Both of them decide to utilize their time on the ship as best as they can. Still suspended, Suguru dresses like a guest and takes Chizuru as his partner. They tour the ship and have fun like other guests do. The first adventure is when Edwards fails at his magic. Unable to reveal the exact card that Suguru picked, they play along so his ego isn't put down, but laugh at him after he leaves. Suguru and Chizuru spend time together, making them see the nicer sides of each other. Sakamoto enters Sohei's room against Michihiko's will and finds his lifeless body on the bed. She screams and runs out. On the stairs, Michihiko stops her and pushes her. She falls all the way down the stairs, sustaining a head injury. Michihiko makes it seem like she slipped and fell. The captain is alerted, and proper action is taken to make sure Sakamoto survives. Suguru and Chizuru take their puzzle solving to Sohei's room. After a careful search, he's still missing. The sun ray gives them a signal. It's an opportunity for them to take a picture of their shadows together, the same kind of picture Wakaba and Chizuru's boyfriend took. They take the picture with their lips almost locked. The moment creates a special feeling for them, but they stick to the initial plan of just having the picture, just to make their cheating partners jealous. Michihiko enters the room, forcing the accidental detectives to hide under the bed. He takes a call and learns that Sohei's will has been found. Without hesitation, he orders it to be altered. Moments later, he exclaims in joy. Suguru and Chizuru, still under the bed, find the lifeless body, so they resolve to let the captain know their findings. Before they tell the captain, Michihiko calls in that Sohei has passed on. He even guilt-trips the doctor into making sure that he attributes his demise to a heart attack. Chizuru is alone when her boyfriend calls her phone. He admits that he almost cheated, but now he wants his beloved Chizuru back. This is all Chizuru has been waiting for. She begins packing her bags, waiting for the ship's next stop in Hong Kong. Suguru enters Chizuru's room and sees her packing. He pleads with her to stay back, foregoing whatever she has with her partner. When Chizuru refuses, Suguru goes on to confess how insanely in love he is with her. This comes as a surprise to Chizuru. With tears in her eyes, she asks Suguru to excuse her. As Suguru leaves, they both reminisce about the time they took the shadow picture. The fond memory almost led to a kiss. Chizuru deletes the picture, but Suguru finds it hard to do the same. The ship arrives in Hong Kong, and some guests leave. It's Suguru's job to make an announcement to the guests leaving, so he does it, but with Chizuru in mind. He even goes off script and talks directly to Chizuru, mentioning how he'd love to see her once again. It's his superior who mutes the microphone before scolding him. As guests continue their voyage, Suguru walks about, feeling miserable. In a jiffy, Chizuru walks up to him. Apparently, Suguru's declaration over the public address system got to her. The joy in their eyes lights up the room as they hug each other. Kanado finds that Reina is having a hard time navigating how life has been to her. He offers help, but is met with a stiff rebuke instead. With Reina concerned that they won't be attending Sohei's funeral, she makes utterances that suggest to Michihiko and his wife that Kanato has probably said a word to her. Also, finding out that Sakamoto is still alive worries Michihiko and his wife a great deal. As they head towards the Aegean Sea, the thunderstorms get heavy. Kanato, who is seated with Suguru and Chizuru, repeats that the ship will sink. The couples who saw Sohei's lifeless body at the pool all want to go back to Japan. With this in mind, they decide to come clean to Suguru. They hand him a clip of what they all saw on that eventful day. Ina's partner is sure that the person they saw running away from the scene is Michihiko's wife. In no time, Suguru confronts Michihiko, revealing his knowledge about how Sohei passed on. He does this after physically confronting him, as opposed to his calm nature. Suguru and Chizuru gather everyone at the scene, alongside the Kumuru family and the captain. They play video recordings to ascertain who is behind Sohei's demise. At first, it seems like it is Michihiko's wife. After careful checking, fingers are now being pointed in Michihiko's direction. In a short while, they find out that it is neither Michihiko nor his wife who has done the evil. As they contemplate, Edwards shows up. He recounts how he saved Sohil from drowning, but used his magic stick to electrocute him to his demise. He gives his reason. Many years back, Sohil took his wife's organ and gave it to someone else. This act led to her demise. Edward's action is a payback for the sorrows Sohil has caused him. He is escorted to a secure part of the ship, where he'll stay in confinement till the police arrive. Suguru and Chizuru sit by the poolside, chatting about themselves. One kiss turns into a second, then a third. Ina switches her interest to Ryuki, while Shiori switches hers to Ina's former partner. Rina and Kanato go on to be best friends. For everyone alive, it's a perfect case of the calm after the storm.